Hello and welcome back to Strange Hungers. Last we left off, the expedition party completed their fight against the unholy creature, the Father of Rot, leaving him behind in the main cathedral of the Temple of the Forgotten. The Paladin Matthias descended down into the retrieval chambers with the group and was pulled back into memories that he chose to keep moving forward. Memories of his father and his siblings, a darkness that he had given up in worship to Lydir, that he now takes forward with him and the expedition party on their journey towards the frozen waste in the north. They chose to leave behind the city of Lye Castle and the desecrated temple to travel towards Lyeport on the coast of Lower Skyholm, making their way across the Kekdal Ocean. But for now, you all have set off on your travel path away from this city with horse and cart, following a line of people that are traveling, escaping from this darkened city towards, hopefully, a lighter atmosphere and the other home of the noble Lykar family, Lyeport. It is morning as you set off. If there are any rolls you need to make for today or any relevant things you need to prepare, get those underway. But other than that, we are beginning a day of travel. Some of you still tired from the long ordeal of yesterday, still a bit wounded, bandaged, recovering, as you set off in this group together.
So, just to confirm, so we slept, and then we woke back up, did all the stuff with my things, and then left, and that was very early morning, so we just have that 1 point of exhaustion, and we're still on the road.
Go ahead.
I believe only Matthias and Awaish have a point of exhaustion. Kiara, Varden, and Tazriel were able to complete a long rest. And you took the point of exhaustion around midnight the previous day for basically not sleeping.
And I had 2 from taking one during combat, which is why I still have 1.
Cool. All right. Awesome.
Yes.
So now we're doing rolls for the day. I think I already did mine.
Yeah,
I believe you already
good
did
on mine. Do I need to roll this little motherfucker?
Yes. Because the party were not able to replenish certain resources in Lye Castle that they were maybe planning to replenish, we're going to roll a depletion die to see how their food and water stores are doing.
God fucking damn
Hey
it.
gamers.
Sarah?
What did you roll?
That's a 1.
Oh
Yep.
my god!
Excellent.
It's narratively satisfying.
Is it? We're narratively thirsty bitches.
I'll say for the purposes of this, there are certain things you did put money towards back in Aethrai. So you do have some like dry food stores kind of thing, but you are planning on saving those more for the wastes. You usually want to have more slightly nicer rations for traveling on the road. So it is your water packs. It is, the fresher food that you are now actually running quite low on. You weren't able to replenish while you were sailing, not able to replenish in Lye Castle. If you really want to start ripping into, some dehydrated jerky that you were... yeah, you're welcome to do so, but it will be kind of unpleasant.
I mean, I think Barden would definitely offer to try and hunt. Give it a go. Depending on what the area is like around, is there any forest as we go? Because you also know mushrooms and things.
Yes. As a native of Skyholm, there's not much in the way of your traditional, deer, green forests kind of thing. You do have some of those birchwood forests. The wood that these trees produce is not very good for building lumber kind of thing. It can be used for making weapons or signposts, but most of the actual lumber does come from Abjor. But there are some floodland hares that you can catch, mushrooms kind of thing. There's a particular kind of eel that's actually considered a delicacy in Skyholm that thrives in salty water here. It's more like a semi-transparent kind of eel. You could see if you could catch one of those. So as we travel for the day, I will make a note that you guys might engage in some hunting. But since you are just setting off, is there anything you would like to do before we hop right into that long day of walking and travel?
Question: is this at the beginning of the day that we realize we're running low? Like, as in, because I still have, as in, would Kiara know to prepare specific spells based on this conversation?
Well,
I believe so.
we woke
I
up
would
in the
say
temple, and
Yeah.
unless we checked in the temple when you woke up and prepared your
I
spells.
don't know when we realize this, I guess.
Maybe for the next day then?
I think for the next day, yeah. You would probably consider, like, breakfast more on the road. I think the press of danger was more relevant than checking your food supplies, when you were in those darkened tombs. So yeah,
Then
for the
she would
next
have
day.
prepared whole person and not.
So like having ADHD and forgetting to eat are very high.
Yes.
Cool. Just
all right.
walking then. Let's get on the road again.
Back
On the
On the road again.
Okay. I am rolling. All
We
right.
don't, this thing right here. Oh God, I can find it. No, that's rock fight boat travel. I felt like there was a thing here that we could enter, but
We did have a traveling by cart previously, but that was a little more grassy area.
Cute.
We could hop in there if we wanted to, but I think
it-
for right now, that'd be
For
cute.
sure.
Why don't we? Let me take a look at that. But while I'm doing that, I'm rolling for the weather and for traveling. So I'll pull us over to there in a second.
hell yeah.
All right. I would love to know, while I get this set up, how you guys are planning on helping out as you're traveling together. Are people keeping watch, working with the horse kind of thing? How are you making your travel go better?
God.
Who's handling the horses? Kiara can help
I'm
with
not
that.
helping.
Animal handling up at the top. +0. Probably not
Okay.
me.
I got a +3. Kiara's gonna
Okay.
befriend the horses.
Good stuff.
They're gonna become her new best friend.
Fuck yeah, dude. Can
love
I
it.
be keeping watch up at the front?
Yeah, sounds good.
Can I be next to Matthias also helping with that?
Yes. We have 2 people keeping watch. All right. And animal handling. Anything else?
I'm
Oasia's
keeping an eye.
vibing in the cart, so not.
Okay.
Barton's
Fantastic.
keeping an eye out for animals.
And
Just,
hunting.
just hunting
Okay.
sort of things, seeing if there's any big ponds or
All right.
fresh water.
So will you all make the relevant checks for that? It's going to be perception checks, animal handling, and survival or perception from Barden. And you guys are trying to beat a DC of 12.
I mean, could it be a nature check?
It could be a nature check. Yeah, sure.
Dirty 20.
I am rolling at disadvantage.
Oh,
Yes, if you have.
Oh my god. I rolled a natural 20 and a 14. Wow. So that's 17.
the
Excellent.
natural 20 for 23.
All right. Well,
Amazing.
Damn.
That is an unnatural 20.
Dirty 20s here too.
we're all on edge. We're on edge.
I see
I rolled
it.
a 13 to snooze.
Fuck off.
Fantastic.
Kiara just had some long private conversation with them horses.
Fantastic. Well, then your travel is going to go quite well today, but I'm going to travel you all to our little traveling by cart area. Here we go.
Hey, I know it's grass, but I just want to see it. I want to see our horse.
Alex might have changed it. Could have been changed. We'll see.
I just changed it because I'm very sexy.
You're so talented.
I am so talented.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I am. Alright,
Lovely.
There we go.
here, horse.
I can put some mushrooms out as well. Those are a little.
Mushrooms.
Cute.
Ah, that's a little guy.
Oh my god, I didn't know that Taz had a furry tail. This changes everything.
Fluffy
I
tail.
did know that.
Yeah, Alex drew me a little furry tail. I loved it.
This
Yeah.
It's
changes
the best thing.
everything.
Alright.
I want to see Taz's furry tail. Who's this? Sir? Oh, bye.
There we go. Oh, and shout out to the platform we're using. If you guys don't know, this is One More Multiverse. This is a fun virtual tabletop platform that we use for. Yes, it's great. Big shout out.
Nice job.
Cool.
Nailed it. Got it in one.
Nailed the pitch. I'm doing great. I think we only have 2 people right now. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
where
why
everyone
are Kiara and the wasteland
Taz
on the
and
cart?
Arden.
is.
They're
Where
on
are
the
you?
carts?
I'm there.
Get
Oh wait,
We don't see you.
Interestingly
Oh,
enough,
I-
I can't see Varden, which is
I'm-
weird.
I'm
I
looking
see,
at
I
the
see
horse.
Barden. She's just not on the cart.
Oh, so I'm looking at stuff.
well.
Well, I'm
Feel
reloading.
free to reload and refresh all that while you guys are doing that. Another shout out, I am using the campfire travel system by Abyssal Brews to mark the way that the expedition party is traveling through the wastes, traveling through Skyhome. So we're going to be using that. Your destination is a score you're trying to hit in order to reach the port, but you're eventually going to get there. It's actually pretty easy. People are, again, traveling along from Castle here. So it is going to be a relatively short journey. Usually, as far as probably Matthias is most likely to know, you can get from Castle to Port in about 2 days. So probably there's some kind of rest stop or something along the way. You will have to pass through the mountains in order to get over to the coast. The mountains that are to your, let's see, your west, far west towards the desert, those are known as the Asnan Mountains, but the mountains that you guys are going to be passing through are called the Asfalls. A-S-F-A-L, Asfalls Mountains. Or the
Okay.
Asphalt or Asfalls Mountains. So those are what you are heading towards as you are traveling along the floodplains. You've actually left behind the deeper water areas of the floodplains. You don't need a boat or anything to travel along here. It's mostly sort of sand beach that's been tamped down. There's actually paths that have been marked out through this area where stones have been laid in. Maybe they've been taken, harvested, taken or mined from the mountains and brought down here, so it's easier for your horse to walk along, for your cart to roll along. You do see, as you're traveling, some other travelers are riding on horseback along the salt beaches. You spot those strange 3-legged horses, the sky skimmers, that are native to this region. These horses that are capable of running on very, very salty water due to the nature of their hoofs. You see a few caravans, looks like families that are leaving behind Castle, traveling to the port. A few merchants as well, loaded up with barrels on caravans. Maybe they weren't able to sell their goods as they were intending to in the city of Castle. And a few folks who look a little worse for the wear. Sallow faces, draped in dark cloth. Mourners, maybe, who had lost someone in the effect of the decay that had touched the city and the temple. But most of them are giving you guys a wide berth. You're not traveling, again, it's not like a tight cluster or anything like that. There are people who pass by from behind. There are people who have already set out on the road ahead of you. More just sort of a sparse, long, winding trail as you make your way up into those salt snow covered peaks that appear in the distance before you. Now I'm going to roll. Yes.
Actually,
Mhm.
if we're traveling with a bunch of people, is there any way that I could try to barter for some food and supplies with someone?
Yes, I do think that would be possible. As I said, there are a few merchant caravans and family caravans who look like they might have more supplies than you guys currently have at your disposal.
Yeah, I'll slip off at some point and try to go towards one of them and get us some, I don't know, water, because that's the harder thing to get out in the plains.
Okay. Pop right over here. There we go.
Oh,
That's a big old guy.
him.
Hey, buddy.
I want
him
to
a
pet him.
pet.
I want to pet him.
Give him a pet.
Baby.
Fish.
There we go.
Look at you populating your world at the drop of a hat.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. So you do see this large furry creature. Looks to be sort of a merchant caravan, and a very small kobold is riding on top of this furry creature, wearing sort of like a low, wide-brimmed leather hat and a scarf tied around his neck. He's got this short little stubby tail, and his scales are a variety of orange and red colors in alternating patterns, sort of blushing down into a deep dark red on the claws and on the feet, sort of semi-dozing off as this large furry creature carries him and his caravan along. But as you hop off and approach, you can see he's not dozing. He's just sort of leaning on one claw as he sits on the creature.
Are you open for sale?
Wasn't planning on selling anything along the road, but a good merchant's always open for sale. How can I help you?
Water if you have it.
Feeling a bit dehydrated, surrounded by all this salt.
Just good to be prepared for the future.
How much are you looking for? Just to refill your water skin, or?
Maybe 2 or 3.
All right. You want to give me a charisma check, Oish?
Oh, God.
Charisma.
Probably with disadvantage because you're exhausted.
Oh, true. Oh my God. So I have a +0 to charisma right now, and I'm exhausted. This is a terrible time to do this. Let me check. Yeah. Okay. Oh God. I need a new D20. I didn't reach my thing. It fell on the floor. That is. Oh, disadvantage. Fuck. I rolled a 15 and a 2. So.
Excellent.
Yikes.
Kobold looks up at you from under the brim of his hat and smiles and says, sort of looking around, not sure you're going to be able to refill those anytime soon. Not sure anyone else is going to come by on the road. And I'm very happy to help you. But if you want to bring those water skins over, I'll fill them up for a gold piece each.
Fuck. That's a little high for my liking.
Is it?
Yes.
You look like you could afford it.
Appearances can be deceiving.
Give or take. Do
How
you have
about
anything
this?
else? Yes.
If you have anything on your cart that needs fixing, I may be able to help.
Looks back over. You can see he does appear to keep most of his goods, and they're sort of nicely tied down, ropes binding the barrels together. It does look like his cart is becoming a little bit caked with salt as he's traveling. So he says, if you want to take some time to help me scrape it off, that would be appreciated.
That shouldn't be necessary, but yes. I can do that.
All right, then.
And Oish casts so many fucking prestidigitations on this damn cart.
All right. You want to give me a little flavor for what that looks like using your spell to desalinate?
Sure. It's so interesting. That's a very strange. I feel like the way that would be used would be like the harmless sensory effect kind of thing. Like it's cleaning or soiling an object, certainly, but I feel like there's a way that needs to be done, and literally like the prestidigitation forms a small object that looks like a scraper and just moves its way along the cart.
Oh, and you're sort of stopping closer by. The expedition cart has drawn to a stop, so the rest of you can see this, spell being cast. But you scraped off those salt rocks, leaving this cart looking, although it was pretty nice, sparkling clean. And the kobold merchant leans over with a pleased smile on his face, and he says, "All right, bring the water skins over and I'll fill them up for 2 copper each.
Appreciated. And Awish goes and collects water skins from anyone who will give them up.
Oh, yes, Kiara definitely gives hers.
Mhm.
Hydrogen is important.
I feel like Barden is already gone at this point, so oof.
As you were
Barden,
scouting ahead?
Did you not leave your stuff behind on the cart? Like
No.
your bag?
I mean,
We can always
no.
share. Can't store water in my dildo, unfortunately. That won't work. But
I love
I'll
that
get
you've
everyone else's
tried.
water skins.
Yeah, I'm sure you can
Okay.
get. I'm sure you can get 3 from among all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And that is considerably, decently cheap. He pops off. You can see he comes to a measly 2 feet tall. You tower over this creature. Comes to one of these barrels. Pops a little spigot out to this little metal piece and turns it. Fills up your water skins with fresh, clean water, and then hops back on his furry creature and gives you a little nod and continues.
Just returns, places them in the cart, and goes back to sleep.
Okay.
I think while we're walking, probably after that, and like up next, I think Taz is up next to Matthias mostly because Taz thinks Matthias looks tired, and it's just like, I'll just, chill over here. And I feel like if there's some point where Taz looks at you and feels like maybe it's okay to ask a question at this point, he will, but not if he doesn't like feel like he could without
Well, he does look exhausted, pretty stone-faced, keeping his eyes on the road, looks pretty focused. Probably, you can ask a question, that's fine. If you're looking for permission from me, you can absolutely ask a question.
Matthias? I don't want to pry about what happened in the crypt, and I'm not going to ask questions about that, but I am slightly curious about the process of giving up your memories and who's allowed to do it.
He's not looking at you as you speak and is just looking around. I'm not an expert on the process, but I've done it, obviously. So, I'm not sure about any kind of restriction. I think that typically it would only be done for one who was part of the church, or at the very least showed interest. The process is some sort of arcane ritual. You enter the temple and are guided through it by the lumens. Still looking around. Just kind of seems to be like reciting this from a rote sort of memory. You think of the memory and they take it from you, for lack of more description, and place it into those vials that you saw. And they keep it for your return.
Does it feel like something's missing? Did you feel like something's been missing from you? You don't, if that's too personal, you don't actually have to answer that.
I forget things all the time. I don't think it's much different than that.
And then he'll nod and think about that for a minute, and then he'll put on like a half smile I guess this probably isn't a process an agent of the Raj would be able to do, huh? Trying to sound like he's joking, but like there's probably some like a little bit of underlying like if only kind of energy there.
I'm not sure. I feel like you might be able to find somebody if there's anyone who survives, who remembers how to
Take a
do
religion check.
how to do it. Me?
Right. A religion check, yeah.
Okay. Religion. Like everything at disadvantage. Yeah. Oof. Yikes. 4.
Yeah. And yeah, you're not sure.
Find somebody who's aware of the process, and if you're interested, I'm sure you could ask, although it's not a it's a fairly faithful religious practice. So
He'll chuckle and say, gotta have faith for that then. Thank you, Matthias.
keeps looking.
Arden, you've traveled out ahead of the group to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a non-natural 20, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, leaving behind sort of the cobblestone path that you are traveling between as the salt beach slopes up, you see more boulders, rocks of that semi-transparent material, then interspersed with large gray stones as you start winding your way up towards the mountains. Mostly the areas that you're able to find that are not going to be disturbed by the fact that people are passing between here, not a lot of animals, are going to be sort of in some of these rocky, cliff areas that you travel up in between. So large boulders, there are some interesting growths and outcroppings, maybe where a root or a plant is trembling to cling to life in whatever dirt has spilled down here between, where it's protected from a salt fall or the winds coming off of the floodplains. I think it's probably the biggest creature that you're able to find, again, with that roll. You do spy a few of those eels as you're traveling along that you could maybe spear with your sword if you wanted to.
I have a javelin.
A javelin.
I wouldn't use that sword for that.
Fair enough.
Just
I wasn't
hacking at the water.
like Link, Legend of Zelda. Just
Listen, with a 20 strength score, I feel like maybe you're capable of that.
I definitely vote that spear, throw the javelin into the water and it just spears one through the head.
Amazing. You want to give me an attack roll
Yeah.
with your javelin?
Do I need to see if it lands first?
Just an attack roll. And tell me what
Okay.
it is.
Let me. Sorry,
No worries.
I haven't got it equipped right now.
Let's see. Javelins, I believe, use strength, and your strength is +5, and you are level 5 now, so you're going to add a +8 to hit. So roll a d20 and add +8.
Yeah, I'll just do that. That's much
Mhm.
easier.
You're buff.
Is a 21?
Absolutely.
Love that.
With mathematical precision. You jab and then can tug the eel out of the water, gleaming and sparkling. But as you separate going into the mountains, you spy probably 20 feet ahead of you. You're sort of like pushing between some of the boulders here, ducking under some scraggly branches in this shaded area where you can't actually see the road from where you are. About 20 paces ahead of you, what looks like a pheasant, but it's of a dark color, like sort of a gray, and then it just has this tuft of white feathers around its neck that if it was standing still, like in the shade of a boulder, would just look like a bunch of salt crystals.
Have I seen one of these before?
Yeah, a few times. They mostly roost in high places, so you've seen a few of them land up on the tomb loft.
How far is it away from me?
20 feet.
I'm alone?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely?
You can give me a perception check.
Yeah, I want to do that. Oof, that's an 11, but...
As far as you can tell, you are alone. You can't, as I said, you can't see the road from where you are. There are boulders behind you.
Okay. Barnon is going to try and get a little bit closer, 10 foot closer.
Give me
Does
stealth.
it move?
It is a bird. They're hard to
It
sneak
is.
up on. Do remember that if you have your blade, I believe it is...
If I have it unshining.
Yeah, then you, I think, have a +2 to your stealth rolls.
Well,
Should be in your item description.
That's a 21 though, so
Yeah.
that's not too bad.
Considering that you don't wear any armor, as large as you are, you move like you are very adapted to this terrain. You step around pebbles that you might knock loose. You stay in the shade of the boulders as well. So, the colors of what you're wearing do not become apparent to this bird as it is pecking at some kind of root.
I think the reason that it works is that as she sees this creature, she gets down on all fours and shifts and starts crawling her way there. Just, it feels good. And 10-foot tail.
Yes! Give me an attack roll with your tail.
Yeah, because that was really cool. Can I lobby for Shan to get advantage on that?
You do have advantage because it doesn't know you're there with your stealth check. So yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Oh, that's a 27.
Yes, where the tip of your the tip of your long spiked tail wraps around the neck of this bird and tugs it towards you, and you can reach up and catch it.
I think it's a case so grab it and just a very quick squeeze and it's
There you go.
thankfully dead, and she's just like, well, that's a good one, and tucks it onto her tail and heads back.
All right.
Make sure everything's tucked away and heads back, see if she can find any mushrooms as well.
Okay. And you can pick up a few mushrooms with that nature check. You grab, handful of different roots and things that you could add to the bird, make a stew.
I'm not sure. Is Kiara vegetarian? Is anyone vegetarian in our group? Have I noticed
Good
this?
question.
That is a good question. I feel like Kiara probably has a vegetable-heavy diet.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I think grew up vegetarian, but has maybe had to expand in their travels.
I think that Awaish is culturally pescatarian, but that's more by location than religious or familial choice. It's just what's available
Makes
from
sense.
where they're from.
Yeah, I think she definitely tried. Oh, sorry, Taz.
I think Taz is in the same boat with Kiara until he started going out on missions. So now he's like,
Yeah, it's like eat what you get, but when there's a choice, natural gravitation towards vegetables and things like that.
Vice is a meat lover.
Vice has a shirt that says "I love bacon."
Vice is steak for every meal.
She's got 5 different grill aprons.
Yeah. Vice says, it goes over her armor and it just says Grill Master.
Yes.
But yeah, she would have noticed and definitely would have tried to pick up whatever vegetarian option she can scrounge. So, but yeah, how many people could this thing feed, this pheasant?
Let's see. A roast turkey is probably a little smaller than that. Can feed, a decent group. So probably the lot of you, if you supplement it with the eel and the roots, you'll have a party banquet for the evening.
Nice.
Hell yeah. I mean, if there's enough other people around us, then that's not a bad thing. Okay.
Barden out here trying to feed the road.
Look, we could also trade. That's a nice thing as well.
Sure.
Anyway, yeah, she heads back.
Okay. The first day of your travel goes quite uneventfully. You've collected some additional food, although the weather is a bit unpleasant. It is cold, misty. It's not snowing yet, but you do feel the temperature getting a little bit colder, especially as you get closer to the ocean and head up into the mountains here. The rise in altitude does change the temperatures, but the sun, you can see, is slowly beginning to set, and sun is slowly beginning to set, and you guys see ahead of you an area where many of the caravans are pulling off to the side. A rest stop. Looks like there's copes of some of these trees that are like up in the mountains where boulders have been pushed to the side and campfires have been set out around the area. So you can like light strike one up, and like a long, flat, rocky plain where a bunch of the horses are being tethered, bags are being laid down, etc.
Let's camp here.
Okay.
Fair
enough.
And immediately, as things roll to a stop, usually, like, taking his armor off is, like, the last thing that he does before he goes to sleep, if he has, like, a shift or something. But literally, as soon as he stops walking, he just starts unclasping and taking off just layers and layers and layers. And as he does that, he looks to Vice and asks, would you come with me to find some kindling, firewood, anything?
Yes, we will see what we can find in this forest area.
And as long as nobody else wants to do anything, Alex, can we find a place that is... Yeah, what's up?
I think Kiara doesn't want to do anything, but I will say by the time you get back there is the goddamn fire lit, because what is the point of Kiara?
We need something to burn. I get that you can just like do fire stuff, but you're not gonna sit there all night. Just
Kiara just like that with the turkey, and we're just turning it around.
Yeah.
Kiara is the fire.
We're not doing that. That's ridiculous. But noted. That's fine. Alex.
Yeah.
Is there a place that is further away where we can go, where there is like a turn around a corner or a group of trees, anything that is covered and away from other people?
You are up in the mountains. If you step off of the path, and you're willing to do a little bit of climbing, both of you and Vice are very athletic people, you can go up and find some areas that are entirely covered, little caves and things in the rock where animals might live. Even you do, not like houses and things, but but possibly a bunch of places where people do live in these mountains. So if you take the time to do it, you can absolutely put a lot of distance between yourself and the road.
Okay. Not going too far, just far enough that I am comfortable and feel as though nobody is listening and nobody's around. Walks quietly and then turns back to her, and his shoulders just very tense, but they come down just a little bit, and he just looks every bit as exhausted as he did and more. I need some time to myself.
All right.
I figured I'd pick a direction and start running.
You'll be careful.
I'll be careful.
Matthias. And don't take too long.
I won't. You don't have to wait for me, but if I'm gone for more than an hour, hopefully before that, I just need some time.
I understand. Seems like you've been holding it in a long time. She puts her hand on your shoulder, looks you in the eyes, sort of just blinks, nods with understanding, and steps back and smiles at you smugly. Go on. Run.
When she puts a hand on his shoulder, he would like put a hand just like on her back or on her shoulder as well, and we'll give a squeeze and then thank you, and is gonna turn around and he's gonna start rock scrabbling his little way out until he hasn't seen another house, and then he's gonna really start running and just go find a place, and just goes and goes and goes. And I don't know if anybody has anything that they want to do, but he's gonna try and find like a clearing or something that still has cover, and I have a thing that I want to do when I get there. But Vice could go back to the camp before that, whatever you want. I don't know.
Vice takes some time to gather what she can find of roots, firewood, and brings it back to the campfire. When she returns to the lot of you, she says, for Markart, we'll be returning shortly. He's looking a little bit further away.
While we're setting up camp, and I'm assuming Barden is probably getting all of her fresh catch
She's
roasting.
plucking this frickin' pheasant, saving the feathers. You never know.
So while that's happening, Kiara is going to find Taz and suggest that they go look for more fresh water if there's something around for tomorrow. And they can go for a little walk. Kiara would not light her shield, but they'll light up their I think Taz and Kiara both have dark vision, but they'll still light up like their amulet and maybe something on Taz, since Kiara can freely light stuff up. And once they're far enough to where specifically Awaish and their elven ears can't hear us anymore. Sorry, we have to always friends. What do your elven eyes? Just call them eyes, Aragorn. Kiara will ask Taz, have you thought about what to tell Barden? If you're going to tell Barden anything?
Honestly, all I have is the thing that keeps playing in my head is telling her I know she lied about the friend thing, but about never hurting anyone, but not in a way of you're a liar, like dangerous kind of thing, but like I know you lied. I understand. If we go out onto the wilds and something feels off, just let me help you.
If I may make a suggestion, I talked to her last night after we talked, and I think it's probably more important for her to know that she's not the only one out there. You don't need to tell her it's you. As I said, you can say that someone you know, that you know that being this does not automatically mean that you're a monster. I think that's probably the most important. I think after that, if you tell her that, I know what you're going through, that's okay. But I think this is probably the first thing that she needs to hear. That someone else has done this. That there's more like her out here than she thinks. Maybe that will just help her start accepting herself.
She needs a Vel. Vel did that for me. And I think I start to water a little bit, crying a little. I was never going to be this. And he summons his dagger. I was just gonna be someone quick and get in and get out and get things and kill people quickly. I was never planning on being able to let this down and manifest this stuff, and they just chipped away at me until and he gets quiet and just nods and wipes his face.
I mean, people have a way of doing that, of changing you in ways that you didn't expect, of changing the way your life is gonna go in manners that you didn't expect. I'm sure whatever happens to us in this expedition, we will all come back different people than when we started. We will all have worn off on each other. But I think, isn't that what growth is?
Depends in which direction you go.
I'm not saying it's good growth, but I still think it's growth nonetheless. But hey, I never asked you about this, but the other day, yesterday, 2 days ago, when I healed you, I saw the tattoo on your chest. What? I didn't say anything at the time. It wasn't the time to say much, but is that a story you would be willing to share?
He thinks for a moment and then gets like that kind of half kind of a shit-eating grin that he has. I suppose it's something I could share with Flamesire.
Kiara does actually giggle.
I told you how I saw the future, what it would look like if the wilds took over the world, and then I got back here to the past, to the present, and things were difficult for a while, and then I found my place amongst the Fire Knights, and I realized that there needed to be a group of us that weren't quite like everybody else if we were going to stop what was happening, what I saw. And it's just been something that's been in my head for a long time, maybe a couple of years before I graduated, and I just thought there would be excellent places throughout the world to have safe houses, to know that my people would be safe if they went there, and it's kind of a roadmap to that. If you know how to read it, it'd tell you where all of our safe maps are, where all of our safe houses are. But reading, it's the hard part.
Did you start a secret army?
Me?
These people
Never.
like you. Wait, when you say, is it a group of wild Dutch?
No.
Okay.
I think I'm the only one.
Because what if the wild Dutch are the key to preventing that future you saw? What if the wild Dutch are the way to turn those powers back on the wild? Isn't it all about how you use what you have? The power itself? I don't think things aren't evil out of the box, are there? That's a viewpoint even I'm not naive enough to have.
The things I did when I got my powers were evil. And I'm not saying that I think these powers are evil. And he just summons the stupid... But everything's a tool.
And you've used these powers for good. So why are they still evil? Anything is evil in the wrong hands, Daz.
I don't know if and a joking smile, Vice or Oesh would agree that I've quite used my powers for good.
You know, we cannot judge anybody. We've seen them use their powers to do whatever they want. So maybe they wouldn't think that, you know. But also, maybe you shouldn't care. Whether you're good or bad is determined by you. Do you feel good using your powers for us?
That like there's a moment of just pure vulnerability on his face before he shuts it down. I think, what were we supposed to be out here looking for?
Water.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to find any. Maybe we should we should go back.
Okay. Yes, I mean, I really should not be out here looking for water, let's be real. But tomorrow, I might be able to help create some. I haven't used that knowledge in a very long time, so fingers crossed I can do it.
You can.
I hope so. And I think they're gonna turn back around and go join the group.
I think Taz is gonna like stick around for like 5 more minutes and compose himself.
Everyone needs alone time this episode. Okay, you return to the campfire. I believe, Barden, you also come back with are you cooking your pheasant tonight?
Yeah, I think by the time that they've been and come back, yeah, she's finished plucking it. And would she have the knowledge to spit roast? The bird?
don't know. I mean, does Barton cook a lot? Shut up.
No, it's just slow and breaking.
I know. Thank God there's no Eric Coker in this party.
Yet. Probably at home, but if that might be something that she learns at Porrent, survival skills.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Okay, then I guess wisdom.
Wisdom. Just a wisdom.
Intelligence. You could use give me an intelligence or wisdom based
My wisdom is
nature
+3.
check.
I'm gonna go for that one, thank you. Oof, that was a 7. Oh wait, that was a nature check.
It could be a nature check. So if you use your int or your wisdom.
I just did a wisdom for it. Oh, that's worse. Never mind. That's a 6.
Okay. So
I think she fucks it up and then it just looks to Vice like, I caught it. Maybe you could lend me a hand and, the rest.
yes. Do you like your meat extra cooked or something like that? Do you have a preference either way?
I mean, just so it doesn't kill us,
Well, as you have it right now, you might want to dial it down. It's already dead. You don't need to roast it anymore.
I mean,
yes, sure. I can help.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, you have in fact cooked it, I believe. Give me that.
Yeah, just hands over.
Steps over and takes the bird off the fire, starts scraping off some of the more blackened bits and cutting pieces off with a knife.
Better than us getting sick.
Yes. I'm glad you were looking out for our health, son.
She's also cooking the mushrooms, like roasting them.
You be careful with those. A light touch, that's all you need.
I don't burn everything.
No, it will serve you well in the wastes. You're going to need a roaring fire to try and thaw out anything you can hunt out there. I'm just saying, take it easy for right now.
All right, I'll take that in mind. Thank you.
While she's, cutting apart the bird, seasoning it a little bit, she looks over towards you, where you're roasting the mushrooms, and says, I think you are going to be well suited for it out there.
Well, I mean, my training at Porrent wasn't quite aimed at the waste, but I think it'll help a bit,
In my personal opinion, in my personal opinion, there is no kind of training you can find on this continent that will prepare you for the Frostlands. But I've known a few very green squires who have spent a few years up at the Order and come out excellent survivalists, if they survive.
The worst thing they have to survive? Is it the cold, or...?
Some things have to be
people?
seen. No, it is. There are plenty of assholes in the Valkyrie Wastes. And yes, they are terrible. There are plenty of things you can exploit out there if you're willing to use whatever you can to fuel, to keep yourself warm. But no, it is not the people that you should be most afraid of. It is a lawless land full of crawling, smoking things that will eat you if you so much as give them a moment. But she's smiling while she says it.
Sounds like you miss it.
I do, I suppose.
That's your true environment, then.
It not used to be. It has become so.
Well, I think I'll be fine with the things trying to eat me thing.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, with your...
I mean, I already ate myself earlier, so, you know, I'm probably the toughest thing. And just wiggles the stump.
Yeah, well, you be careful. Don't go getting hungry if the pheasant doesn't suit you.
No, not a cannibal by nature. Prefer not
I
to
sure
do
hope
that.
not. Those, her face sours for a second when you say that, and she says, that is a more of a danger, I would say, back in Abjor than up in the Frostlands. Maybe not. Maybe that's not fair. Some people resort to desperate measures because they are forced to. Some people choose darkness. But that being said, I just wanted to reach out to you because of your condition. And I wanted you to know there is a place in the Order for all sorts.
You're fucking with me.
I am not fucking with you.
I would have... Really?
Yes. I am being sincere. I cannot promise you that you will make it more than a year or two out there, but I think you seem fairly capable, and, well, if you are desperate for some kind of title...
Not the title.
No.
It's what you can do with it.
A purpose?
Helping people. I know you can do it without it, but definitely easier, from what I hear.
I have known more knights who were very bad at helping people than I have known common folk who were very good.
I mean, isn't that why there should be more? Sorry.
Give me a persuasion check.
Persuasion. I can't see it. Oh, that's a 23. It's an 18 plus 5. Holy shit.
Raise an eyebrow. Maybe.
I just think it's a shame when you have people in power that don't care to do anything good with it.
You can take those off the fire now. They're done.
All right. And she does. She pulls them away, and when she does, I'll consider it. Though I might have more questions.
I'm not the only one you can ask.
Matthias?
Well, I don't know if he is looking to become a mentor anytime soon, but he's of the rank for it.
He didn't seem to take too kindly to discovering my condition, so that's surprising.
You could ask.
Okay.
And we're going to take a quick break here before we return to Matthias. So we'll see y'all back in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye, friend. Bye, everybody.
Welcome back to Strange Hungers. You all begin to settle into your evening meal. Matthias, you are still out.
Yeah. He's just tromping through the woods. Not the woods, the mountains, wherever the fuck he is. For some time. He gave himself like an hour, so just runs as fast as he can. Pounding the stones. And I think that he finally comes skidding to a halt in a clearing and then goes back towards sort of a jutting out of rocks and stands there for a moment, and then as his chest is heaving, kind of just looking down at the ground, his hands curl into fists and he just slowly rocks forward onto the balls of his feet and then drops down onto his knees in the sand. And he reaches up and grabs the back of his shirt and pulls it over his head. And it's got sweat on it. And even so, he just sort of frantic now balls it up in his hands and heaves in and out a few more times and then just presses his face into it and screams as loud as he can into the muffling, because even being however far away, he wants to make sure that no one else can hear this. And he screams again, loud and long, and as the second one sort of deflates his entire body, he begins to cry into the shirt. Just thinking of those faces sunken under the water and seeing those flashes from his memory and all of the things that he has been tamping down, trying to make sure that he's there at least to keep everyone safe on the road. All of these things just come up, and he's there for a good amount of time, just weeping. And when it finally slows, he brings the shirt down and is holding it in his lap and is looking down. And he says, "I don't understand. I don't understand. In that dream, Dorian or whatever said that I would find answers. I don't know what question these are supposed to answer. That thing. Those people were worshippers. They were just it killed them all. And it was using that power, and it felt so familiar. What is it? Why could it do those things?
There is a low noise, a wind blowing through rock. When you raise your head to look up, Matthias, you see that between two boulders, there is a single white tree growing. Not more than a sapling, nearly choked by the lack of dirt and water. It stands there as a wind howls, blows past you, and it bends so far you think it would break. But it does not break. It straightens back up and waves in that wind.
He stands and is going to approach the tree and get a closer look at it.
Mm-hmm. You see roots clinging to the bottom of these boulders, a single crack here in the mountain with a patch of orange-colored dirt where one root is all that secures this tree in its precarious position. There are patterns on the white bark, slightly darker imprints, the way that a birch tree might appear to have eyes if you look at it from a distance. But despite this poor foundation and this poor location, you can see that where it thickens at the base, a knot of wood, the two boulders that press in on this tree are cracked slightly at the bottom where it has grown.
He reaches forward and just touches it.
It is cool to your touch.
Shakes it.
Shake the tree, and it wiggles in its place. No matter how far you push on it with all of your strength, you cannot break it.
What does this mean?
There is no answer to your prayers. There never has been. And you speak to the one who is set your oaths before you, but you still know them by heart.
Answer me. Answer me!
There is no answer. The world goes so still and quiet around you that all you can hear is the sound of your own breathing heaving in and out of your chest. Even the pulse of your own heart fades away. You hear nothing, Matthias. Stone cold silence surrounds you. And then after another moment, when you suck in another breath, you can hear the sound of your heartbeat again and the wind blowing.
He turns his back on the tree and walks back, picks up his shirt, shakes it out. We'll pull it back on and stalk back towards the rocks. And just before leaving, we'll just turn around one more time to look back at the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And then starts running. It's a long way back.
Blown. Will you tell us the third tenet of your oath?
Let me pull up my document.
Yeah. I can read it out as well if you'd like.
God. Where's my goddamn oath? It's not written down.
I will read it out.
Thank you.
Then. Endure the unknown. There is no suffering you cannot endure, no monstrosity you will not face, no treacherous landscape you will not survive in order to uphold your oath. And you return. Find a warm meal waiting for you.
Yeah. When Matthias comes back, he is sweaty and has also obviously been crying. I feel like it's pretty easy to tell. And he's quiet.
Awaish. Is this shitty of them to do? I feel like Awaish would notice first. High passive perception, bitch. And just as Matthias sits before anyone else sees by the firelight, just touches the back of Matthias's shoulder. And he's clean and no longer looks like he's been crying.
Thank you.
They don't answer.
Gonna sit down and have a very quiet meal. That's all.
Okay. If there's no other conversation that you want to take place tonight, I believe that on the road, Barden and Taz, you guys were doing something today.
Orcus
Yes.
lessons.
How many hours do you think you got in of Orcus lessons? Keep in mind that Barden did go hunting, and I think Taz was also helping to keep... Taz, you weren't really keeping an eye out or anything, so again, you had time, but yeah. How many hours do you think you got in?
2 or 3?
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds right to me. The question here is what kind of training Barden wants to do. Something kind of chill, a little bit more challenging, or like super hard.
I think chill, considering it's been a difficult day.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe just like food. Like as she's like sorting out the food for people to eat, it's just like what's mushrooms? I guess.
Oh, that is really cute.
She's just like, it'd be nice if I can, next time I can give it to you and say what it is. You know, like chicken on croûte, whatever that is. I don't actually know what that is. Heard it.
I think like Taz is having like this, like talking to you, having a very relaxed conversation, or he's trying to feel relaxed with you. It's not like a it's not like he's uncomfortable with you, but you know there's something on his mind that he's like trying to move away from, just focus on talking with you about this. It's not like a kind of thing, just a this is on my thoughts.
Is he still keeping eye contact?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. She'll let it slip. She'll let whatever he's dealing with deal with it. As long as he can still look her in the eye.
Oh yeah, not a problem. Then I think next you need to Alex, one roll for all 3 hours.
I'll have you do 3 rolls, so 1 roll for each hour.
And you get it's a 1d20 plus your intelligence modifier plus 2, because I am now 5th level, and you get an instructor bonus.
Nice.
So 1d20 plus my intelligence level. Okay.
Plus 2, don't forget that.
Oh, that's a 4 plus a 2.
Yeah, plus 2 for me.
Oh, it's only a 7.
Oh.
That was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, that's per hour or for the whole thing?
You got 2 more rolls.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, that's a 17 and a 13.
Hell yeah. So you got 2 more hours from that.
Yeah. I need to start writing this down.
Oh, I've got it in a spreadsheet too.
Oh, you've got your spreadsheet?
Yeah. Is Oish awake while we're doing this?
Is awake, is not paying attention.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, it's a chill session. They're fine.
If it's continuing into the evening, Kiara is just hanging out and playing with the fire.
Can we sleep?
Yeah.
Sleep time.
Okay. Are y'all keeping watch or anything like that?
I'm gonna beg off. I want to go to sleep.
Yeah, let's just.
Kiara will offer.
Sure.
Vice got a full night's sleep.
Vice looks over at you, Kiara. You can see she was about to open her mouth to offer, and then she says, "I'll take the second watch."
Good, I suppose.
All right. I think that should cover it for tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Perception check from Kiara.
Well, that's a big old 4 on the dice, plus 3, 7.
Okay. It is a cooler night. You're able to keep the fire going with the materials that Vice and Elias brought back. Mostly what you see as people are laying down for the evening are just people unpacking their caravans, huddling close together. It actually looks like most people here are posting someone out on watch, so there's sort of that like knowing eye contact around the circle, making sure that, you know, no one is sneaking over and stealing things in the middle of the night. You're not the only one who is up, and just making sure that this rest stop is a safe place. So there are others who are on their guard against both the wilderness and each other.
This probably explains their role, but if other people are on watch, Kiara definitely tries to play like Morse code conversation with people in different camps. If she finds one person that's willing to play back.
Do you know Thieves' Cant, Kiara?
No.
Okay, so you're just sort of like blinking back and forth.
Yeah, well, you know, like she probably has like light on her amulet and is doing like the or like making shadows in the fire, you know, like just little campfire games.
You see out the back of one caravan where a blue cloth is draped over, two small hands open and look through. You see a young halfling boy sort of look over at you curiously, and then it closes for a second, and then opens back up, and he's got this little mirror in his hand, and he's pointing it towards you.
Oh, that little bastard's getting the light right in your eye.
and when you like blink the amulet his way, he lines it up so he catches it, and then he tilts the mirror over so that you're flashing, the light of your amulet flashing is directed into the eye of like a sleeping guy on the ground.
Oh, little piece of shit! Nice.
This kid, I love
Little
this kid.
fucker.
So it's just like blinking on and off, and this guy like pulls his blanket over his head and he rolls over next to the remains of the smoking fire, and there's a
Yeah, if the guy wakes up, Kara immediately covers him.
the curtains closed.
Well, and then at some point, Kara's just doing a.
The guy stands up after a while, looks around, and then moves over near the fire and like tries to go back to sleep. And he helps you pick another target on the other side of the.
Fucking
you complete
monsters.
your watch. This little boy eventually just sort of like dozes off. You can see the hand with the mirror just like draped over the side of the caravan.
My little buddy. Kara will wake Vice up and go to sleep.
She startles awake at the sight of your face. Frowns. Thank you. Stands up and
Oh. I wonder if she recognizes you at all.
I mean, I hope so. She's been looking at me for days.
No, I mean, like, I wonder if your face is recognizable to her, like if she knew someone who looked like you.
That's a different question. Who do I look like? I've got a lot of relatives.
you want to give me an insight check, actually?
Yes. Yes. All right, dice. Don't do me wrong. Okay.
What was it?
15.
15. Okay. It is a look of fear and recognition as you wake her up and she startles awake. And
Kara immediately does that. Like, what?
yeah. Question. Are you all right with me talking about someone in the family that you might resemble? It might reveal a little bit more about Kiara's status.
Sure.
Yeah. You're probably the ancestor that you most look like, Kiara Rajan, is Yafo Arkael. This is an Azamar who married into the family, the wife of Bay Rajan. You get a lot of your distinguished features from her, as well as some of that, golden glow that might appear around your eye. She isn't involved in military matters as much, but she does reside in the capital and is, I believe, your great-grandmother. Great-grandmother. Yes.
Mhm.
So that is who you look like, but in many ways you resemble a lot of royalty in your family. So other young femmes or older femmes in your family might have similar hair to you, eye color, etc. Just to look at you is to see the Raj.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. I think Kiara, given what Vice has said, Kiara probably guesses that their appearance itself can be triggering for somebody who hates the Raj, because like you said, like Kiara very much looks of the house to which she belongs. Can't hide the Asimar fire shit. Also, Kiara's not subtle.
No. But Vice takes her watch as the rest of you sleep, and then Awaish, you are last on watch. If you want to take that perception check, you are no longer exhausted when you make it.
Yes.
So.
And I rolled a 4 on my check for the day, so I'm good to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling
Once again.
Dog.
God, it didn't fall as far this time.
You know, I didn't think it would be possible to be bad at D&D, but apparently,
Actually,
if you can't
I'm
roll the
terrible at
dice,
it. It's perception, right?
yeah,
That's a 16.
excellent. You pick up similar things, as I've said, people also keeping watch, looking around the campfire. It is a fairly quiet night, although you can tell the weather is getting worse. It starts to salt snow lightly as the dawn approaches, but
May
if
I
there were...
do like one or two things during this watch while everyone's asleep? First thing I want to do very quickly, Awaish took proficiency in jeweler's tools today. So they take off some of their jewelry, take out this collection of teeth that they have acquired in the past few days, and just spend a couple hours of their watch incorporating these into some of their existing pieces of jewelry. In the future, they'll probably get more to put the things into, but for now, they're just working with what they have. And before long, they have a piece of jewelry that has a crocodile tooth hanging from it. And where a brooch used to have a, let's say it was a stone, like a blue stone inset from the Skeletals, there is now a dark looking tooth. And they're also going to use one of their 3rd level spell slots and cast Sending, just to see if it works.
All right.
They are sending to a person named Rook. And they say, out of Lycastle, on our way to Lyport. This is safe if you need to provide less vague and shrouded details. I await your response.
Haven't heard your voice in a long time. A useful tool. Supplies still en route. Wish I could say see you soon. But I won't.
Wace just has a small, self-satisfied smile, not from the contents of the response, but of the fact that it worked. And they spend the rest of their watch.
Will you give me a check with your jeweler's tools? So that will probably be, I'll call that dexterity plus proficiency.
Oh, that's pretty good. That is +5 because our proficiency bonus just went up. That's also a 16.
16. All right, excellent. Your work is quite commendable, and you're able to swap those things out without damaging any of your existing jewelry.
Amazing.
This night, during the rest, Matthias took the time to set up his own tent, and he is sleeping inside the tent. And he gets his 8 hours, and he's up early just like every other day.
Will you give me, if you have any daily rolls to make? I know I got the one from Awaish as you wake up.
Can we just...
let me know about that.
Can we take a full normal long rest?
Yes, this is considered you are resting at a rest stop, which means you regain all of your hit dice. So you can spend hit dice that you had previously, and you regain all of your hit dice as well. So if you had 2 or 3 left over from the previous night, you can spend those to heal up to full, and then you basically start with as many hit dice as you would have at the beginning of the day. Meaning that all of you should probably be at full.
I can't... I can't remember what I'm on now. I think I'm on a D6. I'm gonna make some tea and drink it.
Yeah.
So Matthias comes
Kara
out.
knows that Matthias will be fine if there's tea in the morning when she wakes up.
I wake up and roll out of the tent, and I will shuffle over to the campfire. Oh God. That's not good.
Oh dear.
Did you burn the tea?
Yeah, I think that the tea burned me.
Yikes. How you looking, Matthias?
Let's see.
He is nursing a cup and honestly probably just sitting by the fire. And is staring into it. If you want to have the conversation, we can fully do that.
Yeah, I do want, I just want to make sure, I know this is kind of out of character stuff, but I know, Pooja, that you have to bounce and you want to have a conversation, so, like, if you want to do it first, that's totally fine, because I feel like this is going to go a little long.
Okay, I mean, we can maybe flash back to your conversation later. Like, you can still have it happen.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's
Sounds
say,
great.
Oish sees that you are there, Matthias, and goes and sits down next to you. That's going to be hard, though. I feel like this No.
Just, you know what? Just have the conversation.
We can also
I've got
do it
40
later.
minutes.
Yeah, let's do it later. Let's have it later, because I feel like if Matthias had the conversation, it would inform the Kiara conversation, so it would be complicated and weird. Yeah.
Sounds good. Then
In that case, Matthias is going through his regular stuff. He has his tea. He makes it about halfway through before he very suddenly, like, gets up and walks a little further away and just vomits.
Oh no!
Not feeling good. Not feeling good today.
No.
And we'll come back and probably grab his sword and, like, do shit. So, yeah.
It is now the 5th day of Neth, the month of memorials. Both Titan and the name of my other moon that I just forgot. Both. What is it?
Varun?
Yes. Thank you.
I got it!
You got it. Shan, take a point of inspiration.
My first!
It's your first.
Yay!
I'm so sorry. You should have gotten more than before that. Well, take a point of inspiration. Both Varun and Titan are half full today, and I will let you guys know that tomorrow, the 6th of Neth, is actually a holiday. It is Al-Haddad, the Festival of Mourning, tomorrow. This is a day of grief and remembrance. It is the month of memorials. There is deliberate symbolism.
You're in a rough month right now, and that is on purpose.
But also, grief and memorial don't look the same everywhere.
That's true. Festival of Mourning looks a little bit different in Abjur. And this is, of course, using the Jurian calendar. There are a few things that might be different in Skyholm, but this is a holiday that is consistent across those two countries.
I would like to... I think as Matthias does his usual routine, the sort of the sword stuff. For some reason, my brain did not give me the words. I think Barden sort of very almost shyly shuffles up next to him, takes position and follows, and goes back into the training, just like nervous at first, but then if he doesn't tell her to fuck off, she just keeps going. She just doesn't say anything, just steps in.
When you've completed your morning preparations and you are ready to get back on the road, travel further up into the mountains. The color of the stone changes and shifts from sort of a more dull color, some more transparent salt boulders, to more pure dark stone. It becomes a little bit harder and a little bit slower to navigate, especially now that it is snowing. And you begin to crest up into these sort of like longer flat areas, and then climbing up again, switchbacking back and forth. Some of these slower caravans are actually staying back a little bit, taking a bit longer. It's going to take them again, a longer period of time to travel up these mountains than it's taking your smaller group with your single cart and horse. And I'm going to pull us over to our next map.
New map?
New map.
If it's actively snowing, Kiara will sit up front. Because sizzle.
Sizzle, sizzle. Yeah, you notice that the snow kind of like doesn't melt on Sig. It just kind of like, and they don't seem bothered by it. They're chill, you know?
Yeah, they're chill, huh?
Snowman. Matthias has fully said, fuck it. He's not wearing his armor today. He is wearing like, he has produced a sort of like, it's like a sweater essentially, but like ye old timey sweater, and it is made out of a woolly material.
Oh my god,
that is very darkly dyed.
Are you wearing the Chris Evans sweater?
I was gonna say, are you wearing Chris Evans' sweater from Knives Out?
I'm not wearing the Chris Evans sweater. It is not knit. It appears to be more of like it's not a knit woolen thing. It's like a fluffy woolen thing, kind of like skins almost. Have you all seen that one fluffy white sweater that I wear, right? Y'all seen that?
No.
Yeah, I think so.
You definitely have. Just imagine that.
Put a picture on Twitter.
Is it like wolfskin?
Kind of.
Like-
It's like
like
sheepskin, but like
sheepskin. Yeah, there you go.
extremely, just so fluffy. And he has his
For
cloak
next
over top of
session,
it.
You'll wear that with your
Yeah. Yeah, Bun has her new coat on.
Yeah.
Cozy.
Yeah.
With the
Not
warming
cold
charms in
enough
it.
yet. Oash has not resorted to coat yet. They're
No.
still just
Too
titties
cold.
out.
Yeah, I think Kiara's doing the outside heat versus inner heat battle. We're gonna see how long it works before, but she has the cloak with the warming charm for when the cold starts winning. But right now, this is a test.
Well, you guys should be able to see now in multiverse where your path approaches up into. I'm gonna zoom out so you can see.
Ooh.
So
Whoa, holy shit.
starting over here,
Oh god.
your path approaches a gorge where you are going to be crossing over the peaks of the Asfalls to the other side.
So before we do that, is
There we go.
Matthias riding up front?
Yeah, he'll be up front.
Okay, so about, I would say maybe halfway through the morning when they're still like doing the climbs, I think Kiara will be examining Matthias, kind of out of the corner of their eye as they have been. I think she was definitely asleep during the whole tea situation. How does Matthias look besides fluffy?
Probably better. Not as exhausted. Still has those dark circles that he always has, but he's still very stone-faced, just like keeping his eye, watching out, doing his job.
Kiara almost like starts and stops several times and finally just says, I never got to tell you how sorry I am for what happened to everybody.
You mean at the temple?
Yeah, I mean, I have not seen that kind of destruction in a place I would go to for solace. How much that must have torn at you.
It would be crushing anywhere.
It would, but I I can't help but feel I would be angry if I were in your place.
I am angry.
A god's job is to protect us, right?
I don't know what a god's job is. Truthfully.
Have you ever spoken to yours?
Not in the way I would speak to you. It is
I suppose. Sorry.
No.
I don't know if you know, but I think, well, no, I know. I serve 2 different powers.
How did you come to that?
Well, the one that I speak to the most, the one that feels like home, has been my friend for as long as I can remember. But then I found this other version, the older, darker version, when I started to focus on serving others. That
And
one, I only get images from.
the first one, you'd call them a god?
Well, it depends. I come from a culture of many deities, gods, whatever you want to call them. Beings with great powers.
And
And
as
the power
for...
to grant you their powers.
And the second one?
The second one is a feeling.
What does it feel like?
The blood rushing in my vein. My heart beating. The warmth of knowing I'm here, I'm alive, that I am not like the buildings around me, the stones.
The temple wasn't necessarily a place of solace for me. I didn't... It was a place of solace for my mother, and so I was there with her. And I never spoke. Well, I would speak to Lydir, or I thought that I would, but I wouldn't hear anything back. As for the being that I made my oath to, I don't know if it was chance, but I don't know. It sent a messenger, I think. And that messenger spoke to me. But that was the last time I ever heard anything resembling its voice.
But do you continue to have faith? You continue to uphold your oath?
I do my best.
Whoever this is, not Lydear, they continue to work through it.
They do.
And maybe that's your sign. The way mine is the blood rushing through my veins, maybe the bones that you put around to protect your friends, that's your god showing their presence.
He kind of like chews on his bottom lip and looks very, very thoughtful, but I think he's silent for an extended period. Looks like he's thinking.
I think with the silence, Kiara, will let Matthias fake and, I don't know, do Kiara things. Play with the snow, catch it in their hand, see how fast it sits before melting, things like that. Just goofy shit.
After an extended period of time, if you're still there, the feeling is certainly one I would recognize anywhere. And I felt it from that creature in the temple when it made me kneel. I could feel it in my mind, in my bones. The same. It was the same. And if this thing works through me, then what's to say it wasn't working directly through that thing?
I don't have answers, but that thing was corrupted. And you are not. We don't know when it got its powers. We don't know what its connection to the source was, but it was not what you are. It was corrupted and wrong and broken, and you are not those things.
How would you know if I was?
Well, for one thing, you would not be feeling this guilt, this questioning. You only feel that because you care. You want to do the right thing. You worry that you won't be able to. That's not a sign of being human. What is?
I felt Yes.
Kiara's gonna reach over and put their hand on yours and squeeze it and say, "You were here with us, protecting us, and I'll worry about you the day you
Day I stop.
being here with us, taking care of us, putting all of us. Even though you shouldn't put all of us, but that's a different. Self-care is a conversation.
You're clipping off
Oh.
at the end a little, Pooja.
That might be my internet. What they were saying was, I will worry about you when you stop putting the rest of us first. And then she will say, although you should put yourself first, but self-care is a conversation we'll have on another day.
He just nods. Looks like he wants to say something. And then doesn't. But nods.
This is so many words for Matthias anyway.
Ah.
It takes your group 3 or 4 hours to reach this mountain pass here. You're cresting over the top of the Ass Falls to head back down to the coast, where Lyport is. You see ahead of you, there is a line of other caravans that are waiting to cross what looks like a bridge over a gorge. And there is a figure standing by a boulder in front of the bridge who is interacting with other passersby caravans before they cross over. The bridge bows under the weight of the horses as they step across, are guided.
What could
Carefully.
possibly go wrong?
We're gonna
No
get
thanks.
attacked.
We're gonna fall. Let's fucking go. Do we have to get in line? Is that what we
You
have to
get in
do?
line. You're currently in line. You are waiting in line. There is an outhouse.
Yeah, Oasia's just staring at this rickety ass bridge and says, I don't suppose there's another way around.
Is there another way around, Alex?
You want to give me a history check? Actually,
Can I have advantage?
history- No, but the DC is lower because you're from Skyhome.
Ugh, but I'm so dumb. Oh, no advantage.
Barton, you can make a history check too.
Ah, yes. I rolled a 19, so that's a 17.
Amazing. Oh my god,
You got better than me, so I got 13.
Oh, our big sad dumb boy.
This gorge does stretch like through the mountains. There's a legend of a place where this continent cracked, and like the sort of coast of Skyhome is supposed to be drifting into the Kvekdal little by little over time. So this like crack gorge here, this is the narrowest place where you can cross it. This bridge is like the single narrowest place. To the left and to the right, it gets wider and wider. And
This seems like a failure of infrastructure.
Could be a failure of infrastructure, could be a deliberate money-making ploy.
I'm gonna come out here and
But-
fucking build a bridge myself.
With that history, especially as someone who has traveled around the continent before, you do know that attempts have been made to build other bridges. There are other locations where you can cross the mountains that are considered pretty significantly dangerous, but this is actually like the easiest one. Most of the other ones are like spanning larger ways across the gorge, or there are ways if you have the capability for flight, you can do that, but this is actually significantly like a place where money is made. Even if you have the ability to fly, there are some people who have established themselves like in the flight area over these mountains, and will like chase you down.
Then Matthias will like swing his head towards Oesh with just the most just pained look and pain for him, which is just like an inclination on his face, but just says not any that are as short or as direct or as cheap, all at the same time at least.
Fine.
Someone doesn't like to wait in
I guess we all
line.
head forward. What?
Little wizard doesn't like to wait in line. Gotta get there now. Why don't you make us a little teleportation circle?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Why don't you get your little book out?
Someday you'll all see.
Someday.
What spurs Oesh on to get teleportation? This moment.
Fucking
right
line.
Well, it takes about another hour to wait in this line
Christ.
as people are crossing very slowly and cautiously. And each time there's like a 5 or 10 minute conversation that they have with this figure who's standing at the head of the bridge before they cross over. So the fact that it is only an hour is actually pretty good, considering those caravans that had started out later in the day are now stacking up behind you.
That is maddening.
No time wasted. I want it to be known I'm working on my grimoire while we're doing this.
Okay.
Can I also
Excellent.
try and find can I go for a walk? Can I just go for a walk?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go
Yeah, you
try
can
and
go
find
for a
another
walk.
secluded, like, walking path.
Okay.
Screaming path.
From up here, like this area is sort of all cleaned off, but you can travel along the edge of that gorge if you want. This is where it's most fenced off. You can see like this, there's sort of this crack, and then the mountains rise up ahead of you, like the peaks of them. These aren't super high mountains, like they're not, you didn't like scale Mount Everest or anything, you know, like they're walkable up mountains. But as you travel along the gorge, the fencing that has been put in place is no longer there, and you have to
Okay.
make sure you're staying away from the edge.
Can anyone see or hear me?
Give me a perception, and if you want a stealth check, if you're trying to like get out of the range of people who might be looking
Oh,
around.
that is a great idea. Thank you so much for reminding me. Alex, I cast Pass Without Trace.
Nah.
Damn it.
So smart.
I cast Pass Without Trace. I just like excuse myself. I'm like, I'm gonna go for a walk.
Vanish.
And I'm gonna
with the reins.
dip.
Yeah, LOL. Pass Without Trace, are you casting it just on yourself, or do you want to like stick it on other
Yeah, 100%.
people?
I'm just casting it on myself.
Okay.
24.
Okay. With the plus 10?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh wait. And well, I didn't have my stealth, so that's a 25.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, you do not, as you step away and you cast that spell, where your feet tread, no marks are made. The rocks seem to almost soften underneath your steps, and the areas where, you said you're not wearing armor, but any areas where any metal might clink on your body, you know, the hilt of your sword, anytime it does, it's almost like the sound of laying down in a field of flowers.
Yeah.
Just soft,
Oh, that's
quiet.
gay.
Is not just edgelord. He's also like flora and fauna and shit. It's flowers are also that bitch's domain. I don't know what to tell you.
Very cute. I gotta check something.
You sound like flowers.
I do sound like flowers. People keep
Pretty.
doing stuff. I gotta do something while I'm
Okay.
here.
We are going close to time, so keep an eye on that. I think we have probably time for finishing this up and maybe one more short scene before we're going to.
I was just gonna say, if we have an hour, can Barden and Taz do one more hour of Orcish?
If you want, unless you were going to do something else, Taz.
If he wants to do it something else, that's also fine.
I think what will happen is Taz like pulls out his special parchment paper and looks like he's about to write a letter, but then sees Barden coming up and assumes it's for Orcish and puts it away. So he'll work on that later.
Okay.
Don't have to. It's fine. You can do your letter.
I know it's all right.
Okay, then you guys can give me one more roll for that Orcish.
Yeah. She sit next to him. Puts her shoulder up.
I realize
That's a 20! That's a nat 20, baby!
Nice.
23!
Oh yeah.
All right, so mark that next hour. Yes, Sloan. What's up?
I realize what this is gonna sound like. Matthias comes back. Fuck me. Matthias comes back after about 30 minutes and looks marginally less tense. Marginally less tense. He took a walk.
Well, if he's coming back up to the front of the carriage where Kiara is, if Kiara senses it, she probably just like smiles, doesn't say anything. She encourages them. We approve.
There's a lighthearted purred chuckle that you hear, Kiara, like a in the back of your mind.
Hey, we advocate passion for all, including ourselves.
And but Vice does look over and snorts and goes, back so soon.
I just flicker off.
Oh, so
That's your
cute,
grandma.
Markart.
You could have invited Taz. He would have helped. I'm sorry. But
So do you have that in hand?
Take your
But-
orc lessons.
On that note, you return Matthias, and the cart pulls up to the front. Y'all can. I'm gonna drag your cart up. You guys can approach the front of this line here, where you see the figure waiting for you.
God, who the fuck is that? That is a
Wouldn't you
creature.
like to know? This person, as you approach, stands at about 10 feet tall.
Jesus.
Made mostly higher by a mass of curled dark hair and what appears to be a pure adamantine helmet with two horns that are attached, spiraling up and back through the hair, covering the face. An elegant outfit of dark blacks and silvers, a shield, similar adamantine leggings, and probably some kind of chainmail or something that is worn under this like dark padded jacket, and a cloak that comes down behind. You don't see a weapon in the hand of this figure, but they look towards the group. You want to cross the gorge?
Yes.
Yes.
You're going to have to pay.
How much?
Steps forward, the helmet turns, looking between each of you. I'm feeling generous today. 15 platinum.
What?
I think you heard me.
Is that what everybody before us paid?
Some of them more. Like I said, I'm feeling generous.
Question for the DM. Now, Kiara doesn't really know money, but given Matthias's reaction, and was the state of the carts in front of us, does it seem like the carts that crossed in front of us, because, you know, Kiara was staring at them for an hour, do they look like they could have afforded 15 platinum?
Unlikely. This might explain why some of the discussion happened back and forth. Again, you cannot see this creature's face. It's hard to read the body language, but there's a joy to the voice, where they're maybe expecting you to barter or beg.
Do you have...
know, this bridge is very old, and I'm taking care of it all by myself. The more people that cross it, the more likely it is to collapse. Takes a lot to upkeep an area like this, all on my lonesome.
Do you use money for that?
Well, of course. I pay to have materials shipped up here. I pay for repairs. All those fences you see. Safety first, of course.
Do you take anything other than money? Do you have any need for anything else?
A woman has needs. Yes. Depends what you have to offer.
Yes.
Have you met Tab? I'm kidding.
I mean, it must be totally lonely up here.
She looks over towards Taz and steps forward, looks down at him. Where the heck is Tazriel? Get over here.
You're going to pimp out a party member?
Hence that. Nick.
Looks towards you, Taz. Here we go. Says, and then, here we go. Reaches up and takes off her helmet. Take it off. There we go.
Ooh.
And you see a possibly orcish Goliath woman, hulking and massive, grinning at you smugly, tucks that helmet under one arm and says, "There are many ways you could possibly pay my fee."
I look at Matthias and the rest of the party and I just say, I have many ways to pay.
I wouldn't want to keep this very, very long line waiting too long. But that is not the kind of fee I am interested in. Do you have any magic?
Yes.
What kind of magic?
Items, artifacts, valuables.
I'll just take a look at my inventory.
Barden steps back a little bit, just like.
We might be better off just paying like task. If it's
Do you have 15 platinum? Do you
Is
have
that 100? Is that 150 gold?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have 625 gold.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
you still have that. Oh, yeah.
I
you
have a shit ton of money.
Oh yeah.
Listen, Taz was like, "Oh, I could pay that," and then heard other thing was like, "Oh."
If you listen, if Taz would like to step forward and say,
Yeah.
"I will pay for it," that is fine.
Okay,
That's fine
so
by me.
Negotiate.
But also, yeah, barter down.
I look at the others, and my eyes linger on Barden for a moment because that's the only like magic item that is coming to the front of my mind. I'm not about to ask Barden for that.
Yeah, there's a look of panic.
I'm not about to. No, it's very quick. All of our magic is inherent, innate, and I just summon the dagger. But if you won't take one form of payment, and there's a little twinkle in my eye, we could pay in coin, but 15 platinum is a bit steep.
Is it a bit steep?
Just a little bit.
You know what else is steep, sweetheart?
The gold.
Those cliff faces, yes. If you want to try and climb them yourself. You don't need to make use of my bridge.
I would not like to do that, but
I didn't think so.
8 platinum.
8 platinum. You must think me a fool.
We just arrived from the town of Leicastle, which was sacked completely.
I've heard the pitiful news.
After freeing the temple of its curse, we are now on our way to Lyport to board a ship that will take us across the Vecdal and into the north. We are attempting to fight some severe threats that have the potential to spread into this land. We only have so much coin, and a good bit of it we need to arm ourselves so that we don't die as soon as we set foot into the wastes. We could do as much as 10.
You and Tazriel can each make a persuasion check, or one of you can make it with advantage.
That's
so
disadvantage for a wish being a bitch.
I'll take persuasion with advantage.
all right, have at it.
Okay.
Please.
Kiara should be doing the persuading, except he doesn't know how to.
No, Matthias!
I'm sorry. I did roll with advantage. I rolled a 10. With persuasion is a 16.
Wow. That's very exciting. I've never had such heroes grace my bridge before.
We're
The
not.
cost stands. If great and terrible dangers are coming to this continent, very important that a woman like myself prepare her savings in advance.
I think
Never
Taz...
got your
We
name.
could just kill this person,
No.
right? We can just kill them, right?
I want
should
to,
not-
but we shouldn't.
We should
My
go
name.
random pieces.
Pathmaster Carvo.
That
is
was
my
not in
name.
character, for the record. That was Sloan saying that.
Oh, I was
heard of
talking to
this?
Barden. I don't think you've heard this name. No, although you know similarly that there are, again, it is very expensive to cross to the border here. But
I would
as
say that
yes,
since we've helped out Lycast recently, you know, there would be a lot more people actually crossing because now it's safe. You could say that we've actually brought you a little bit more commerce.
that is very exciting news for me. But I have lines here every day. I am not in need of any assistance.
Oh, not that I think you did. You look very strong.
I
What
know.
about food and water?
I am fed and watered. Thank you.
Oh, that's good. It's hard out here.
Taz is just gonna pull out the gold. And
Before you pull
There
out
we
the gold,
go. Mm-hmm.
oh,
as you do, Awage reaches onto their wrist with a needle and plucks off a tattoo and says, "How much would this lower the price?"
Are you offering your tattoo, the magic item?
The Illuminator, yeah.
Hmm. Her eyes go greedy. Interesting. $13 platinum. That and 20 gold, and you can cross.
I paid 20. If I give this to you, you should be paying us.
Like I said, I'm feeling generous. I'll just take that.
And they hand it over.
Grasps the needle, tucks it into her coat, says, "It is a pleasure." Steps away and leaves you the bridge to cross.
They look pissed.
How much did how much did that cost? That tattoo.
I did not lie about the price.
200.
Oh, it was 20 platinum.
I don't actually know if that's the price they paid. I imagine it's somewhere close to there, and I also imagine that their memory of paying, it was a long time ago, is not fully.
That's not worth it. We'll just pay the gold.
You have already paid. You are welcome to make your way across. People are waiting.
It's done.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
As the bridge stretches out before you, you can hear the winds howling from the gorge below, the way it sways in the breeze. And then from behind you, the noises of grumbling and discontent, people shouting. Is this going to take much longer? A familiar voice rises once again over the crowd in a shout.
Fuck.
Yara, I know you are here somewhere.
This bitch just won't stop.
My hounds can smell you. You cannot run from me. And you begin to smell burning sulfur. And that is where we are going to.
Motherfucker! Oh my god, I knew she was gonna catch up at some point. Got it. Fucking put.
Why is it on a very flammable bridge? That's the question.
Thank you so much for watching. We will see you back next week for our next episode of Strange Hungers. These maps have been brought to you by One More Multiverse. Go check out the Discord and you can chat with us there. discord.gg/multiverse. Also, thank you to Soundtail for our wonderful audio and for bringing us those sweet, sweet vibes. A big reminder to go check out our YouTube. Subscribing really helps us out so we can get our name on our channel. It's Total Party Kiss on YouTube if you go look us up. And we're trying to put out our VODs updating weekly around Monday or Tuesdays, so keep an eye out for that again. Go follow us on Twitter at Total Party Kiss for more updates, and reminder to check out Tragedy of Theologian tomorrow evening at 8:30 p.m. EDT. Okay? Anything else?
No.
All right.
Misery.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Where the fuck is the end screen? Oh, there it is. Bye.
Bye.